So traders, I want to start off with today's video with a bit more of a 10,000 foot view for you guys that are investors like long-term buy and hold. When it comes to gold, when it comes to the silver, the mining sector, even the stock market, I believe right now is one of the greatest times to be a long-term investor. Now, you must differentiate the differences between short-term trader, all right, people that are trading the markets, getting in, getting out, like that sort of income base, and people that are long-term buy and hold. Okay, so investors are this. So you also need to make sure that your analysis fits within that realm. Like, for example, if you see that there's a big debt crisis happening right now, you don't utilize that information and then go place a trade, right? Because do you know what I'm saying? Like, big debt crisis, the debt bubble's going to explode. That sort of information, that's big cycle analysis, right? You don't then go put a trade on based off that, and then 2 days later you're getting out because it's gone against you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's actually make sure our analysis fits within the realm of what we're doing here. That's where what I'm talking about here when I start off this video here, I believe that for long-term investors, yes, we're going to see swings. I believe we're going to see a crash style coming next year. A recession next year, yes. But I want you to be putting that in the context of a 10,000 foot view here. And the reason why I'm starting off this video here today for you is because, yes, while I'm actually a both, right? I'm a long-term investor in these markets, and I'm doing that, but I'm also a short-term trader. Now, short-term for me is a couple of weeks, sometimes, or a couple of months, right? I'm getting in, I'm utilizing options, that sort of stuff, right? But then I'm also a long-term investor as well too. But I want to share this with you video here to share with you why I see that, yes, next year is probably going to be a bad year. But why that's not a bad thing. That's actually, to me, what's coming next year is probably what's going to be called a slingshot move for just incredible moves across all markets, right? So if you're a long-term investor, one, be prepared for what's coming next year. Right, because we're probably going to go through that, what's called a shake and bake. And what do I mean by that? If I look at all these markets from here, right, and I look at all these, if I look at, say, the S&P 500, if we see this chart here, this is the logarithmic chart of the S&P 500. This is monthly charts, big 10,000 foot view, okay? For people that are, I'm laughing because like some people are just like, anyway, right. For people that, now obviously this is for you guys that have, millions of dollars in an account. You're looking to make sure you do the right thing. You understand the cycles. You understand what's going on. You want to be able to make sure you're working your money for it, right? This is not for you guys that have got a $5,000 trading account and you're trying to make $100 today. Like that's not what this is all about, right? Just understand that process there. So, and the reason why I talk about this here is because I want you to understand the big cycles that are at play, okay? So yes, while I believe next year is going to be a crash year, I believe we're going to go through a significant drop in the markets, across all markets, by the way. Gold, silver, everything there, right? Everything right now is setting up for something big to come real soon. And what do I mean by that is that we know that by looking at these markets, we have just been extraordinary bull market for quite some time. Now, I want you to think about this from a 10,000 foot view perspective, okay? When I look at this, say this S&P 500 here, and I look at this S&P 500, this is what I want you to be thinking here, right? So if we continue getting a move into the upside, which I believe we're going to, right? I believe we're going to continue seeing really strong movements. We're going to get small little dips this year, but we're probably likely to see much more stronger moves out of all markets, by the way, right? Silver, mining sector, gold, like all these things are now getting into bubble territory. We know that, right? I believe there's more upside to come out of these markets because we're in this bubble territory. Then as this market continues to be more frothy and more bubbly and so on and so forth, we're going to get some sort of bang, right? We're going to get a bang, which a bang means Howard Marks, the legendary investor of all our times. And it's interesting, right? Howard Marks would actually make a comment like the markets always eventually make our way back to the mean. And what does that simply mean, right? We go up, we pull back to the mean. We go up, we pull back to the mean, right? The market's always eventually, and then just like it's like, you have these people that are like probably broke, or they're in a funded trading account, and they're trying to say Howard Marks has no idea what he's talking about. It's like, oh my goodness, I just laugh at that sort of stuff. Anyway, so by going down this path here and by seeing this level here, for you, and again, this whole start of this video here, I'm gonna get to some short-term stuff in just a minute as well too. But the big picture here I want to give you guys is like why this is a really incredible time to be alive right now. Right? Why this is an incredible time to be alive right now, and why I see for you guys that are long-term investors, don't be afraid of the next 5 years. This is actually an incredible time to be part of the next 5 years. The next 5 years are going to just see incredible moves to the upside. Out of all these markets, but next year we're probably going to go through a significant drop. There's the coming crash is going to shake millions of people's hands out, and the reason why I'm doing this here and trying to do this for you is because I want you to understand what's coming, right? So therefore, what I see what's coming is more movement to the upside this year, and then a very big drop to next year. We're talking like maybe a 20 or 30% drop next year. Now remember, we are halfway through, or maybe even at the early stages of an incredible AI boom. Within the context of that, people think an AI boom, market never go down. That's it. Every single major bull market, the market has stair-stepping phases, and we go through these scare phases, right? The market will go through those phases there. So with the S&P 500, again, for you guys that are long-term buy and hold of these markets, if we see this market going up, just be prepared, right? That we're probably going to see some more movement upside here on the S&P, and then next year we're going to get something like that going on. Now that doesn't look like much, but that's about a 20 or 30% drop. If we have a rally back up towards 7,000 or so, right? That drop there is what? That's a 30 to 40% drop in the markets. You know what's going to happen at that time? What is going to happen at that time? Well, you know, there's noise and then there's signal, right? There's noise and then there's signal in the marketplace. And so one thing that you want to differentiate your what's called noise versus signal is that, let me show you this here, right? So this is actually, I did this post here a while ago here. Oh, by the way, this is actually, I said here, oh, this is actually on my post here. Right, I said I don't care what the market is or what the story people are saying. Every time we go vertical bull market, it always ends as a significant pullbacks, and sometimes in a really big crash. And this is why I've been putting warning signs out there about gold, because the last 2 years have been straight up. So people think that gold cannot pull back and so on and so forth. Like this is all these charts here are. This is look at this here, big move up. All right, and then there's another. Can I open that up? Why aren't you letting me open up? Oh, maybe if I clicked this one here. Is that right? Oh, it's not letting me. Anyway, so we see big vertical, and even though, as you can see, even though we had this big vertical move up for many years, right? Look what happened here. This is probably a monthly chart here, by the way. Look at this here. It's probably a very big drop to the downside. Look at that big drop to the downside, and so on and so forth. So we do get these corrections here, right? Let me actually go back here for a minute. And let's go to, oh, by the way, if anyone's looking for a book, this is actually a book that I'm actually reading right now. This one right here, which is What I Learned Losing $1 Million. It's actually a trader. It's actually really interesting, by the way. I'm probably maybe 25, 30% away through the book, and we're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of how he actually lost $1 million. And all I say is, he's doing the number one reason why I don't trade the way that he was doing. He's basically doing debit spreads, or it's basically spreads and it looks like he was utilizing things like options, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think. Again, I'm not sure part of it, but anyway, this is actually a really good book. This here, if you listen to this book, it'll show you why there's certain instruments that you should not trade. Now, if I go down to this here, right? Look at this here. Why smart traders ignore the noise. Again, think about what I just said here, okay? The noise. There's going to be a lot of noise next year. Actually, there's going to be a lot of noise this year about how the market can't go down and gold's going to the moon and gold's going to 10,000. Lots of noise. It's already happening right now, right? Right? Look at this chart and look at this chart of a typical market cycle. Every major moves ends with the soundtrack, noise. This is where, for you guys that are smart investors, I'm trying to give you the 10,000 foot view here. This year, the noise is going to be, oh my goodness, this cannot go down. It's going to the moon, right? And that's why 95% of traders don't make money, because they go for the noise. Don't listen to the noise. That's exactly what's happening right now. Gold, silver, mining sector. Now, by the way, I see more upside coming right now this year over the next few months. What I'm talking about here, I'm trying to give you the 5-year view of how these massive super cycles going to play out. So you don't get sucked in by the noise. You can keep a level, clear head. And from within that, we can start to make really good decisions, because it's only those who are emotionally controlled, one. Secondly, see these major super cycles at play, two. And three, you can take advantage of it so you're not freaking out. Like 95% of traders are going to, like 99% of traders actually are going to do, which is they're going to get sucked in by the noise. All right. And even broader indices headlines are rare. Social feed buzzing, breakout, new highs coming. It's almost deafening. And you're starting to see it right now. Now, it doesn't mean today we're going to go down. No, I actually see more frothiness coming in. Right? I see more boom come. Gold, silver. I think gold has one more push to the upside. Again, I'll get to that in just a minute when it comes to the short-term stuff. But again, 10,000 foot view. Think about this. So again, for you guys that have, and this is really a message for you guys that have, you know, like for me, it's same as well too, right? I'm thinking about long-term investing as well too. But for you guys that have, you know, multiple millions in an account and you're looking to position yourself properly to understand what's going on right now, just understand where we are right now. That's what this whole thing is for, right? If you would like to help, if you like more help, more guidance around this, then that second link in the description is a link to my coaching program where you're with me every day and I can help you on a day-by-day basis. But this is for you guys, right? But here's what most people forget. Noise is not signal. Noise is everywhere. Chasing media. Let me see if I can bring this down here. There we go. All right. Noise is everywhere. Chasing price. Media, hype, influence predictions, and fear of missing out chatter. It's what pushes markets into the final stage of euphoria, complacency, and anxiety. So this euphoria stage, this is where we're at right now, I believe, right? I believe right now we're in the thrill to euphoria in all markets. Now this thrill to euphoria, I believe over the next couple of more months, we're going to see more upside. And we're probably going to get small dips and so on and so forth. But the trajectory is up, right? But I want you to think about this here, okay? Be sensible about the way you're trading the markets, okay? Signal is different. Noise is not a signal. Signal is different. Signal is quiet, meaning, and as you know, right, the reason why, you know, the whole Warren Buffett, buy when people fearful, sell when people greedy. You've probably heard that 1,000 times, right? So what is that really? That's happening right now with gold. People think gold's the start of the massive move and it's got to go to 10,000. Now, we all do know that's probably 20% probability of being right. Maybe 10% probability. Now, some of you guys that are long-term buy and hold and blah, 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 you guys are going to say, you're an idiot, John. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm just like, hey, look at the probability of things happening. What you don't want to do is, I know normally in a very big bull market for a few years, we end up getting corrections to balance things out, as Howard Market says. I know that normally happens, but this time's different. No. Do not trade based off this time is different. You want to trade based on something that happens most of the time, like 70, 80% of the time. So therefore, you can have a higher probability of for the next 40 years of you doing really well in the markets. See what I'm saying here, right? That's the whole purpose of this thing here. Not this time is different. Look at this here. So signal is the quiet. Measurable stories in price, volume, and time. It's what tells you when momentum is exhausting. When smart money is taking profits, when the risk reward is flipping, signal rarely shouts. Think about that, right? We all do know this, right? For you guys that have been around the markets probably for say 5, maybe even 10 years, You probably heard the story. If the taxi driver's telling you what to do, blah, 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 then that's the wrong time. This happened to me a while ago when I had my gardener contact me about oil. He's like, oil's going to the moon. I'm like, really? And that was the top. That was in the last few months there. In fact, actually, I'll bring this down. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about there, just so you guys can see what I'm seeing here. So when we had this big spike up here in oil, right? So when I this big rally here. So when oil rallied through here, my gardener came out and said to me, John, did you see what happened with oil? It's going to go to the moon. It's like 2022 again. So when my gardeners tell me what to do, run. So anyway, so I hope you see what I'm saying here, right? Hope you see what I'm saying here. Right now, the whisperer is warning that the next few months could bring a deep correction here, right? Or maybe not the next few months. But looking at the scale, the next month or two, we're probably going to have a nice move, have a nice move in that direction. A move designed to shake out the weekends. History shows this is when 90% follow the crowd and buy late. 1% step aside, preserve capital, and wait for real opportunities. If you want to be in the 1%, here's the mindset: filter the noise, don't trade headlines, chat rooms, and FOMOs. It is so crazy, right? It's like people hop on a chat room or a Reddit forum where the broke people are and they're taking their advice. No, don't, right? Wait for structure. Let price confirm when the crowd has been flushed out. Act with discipline, be patient. The cycle of this Wall Street Chase Street isn't just theory, it's a map. When everyone else is hypnotized by the top, this is the quiet professionals already getting ready for this, right? Stay calm, listen for signal. So right now, we all do know what's happening through here. So if I go back to here, there's going to be two noises you're going to see over the next 12 to 24 months. The first noise is going to be, this is going to the moon. This is never going to go down. Right? And you know, right? And you know when that happens, it's already starting to happen right now in gold, right? So you know we're near the top in gold. I know some of you guys are going, gold, John, you don't understand. The central banks are buying. John, you don't understand. The debt bubble's going to explode. Story. Guys, be smart. Right? No, this time is not different. No, the end of the road is not here yet. You know, if that whole, the debt bubble's going to explode, it's the end game, and all these stories some of you guys are coming up with. If that's the case, why have the government, the good old DJ, why has there been massive amount more of QE being printed this year? If it was endgame, they wouldn't have done more QE this year. So anyway, put that. So that's going to be what's happening right now. And then what's going to happen next year? We're probably going to see a really big correction, right? Because so many people are bullish. We're starting to get into a big profit pool market and so on and so forth. And we're probably going to get a big correction. Now, I don't believe a big 80% style of crash of like an 08 crash, but maybe 20, 30% crash, maybe 40% crash. It'll look something like that on this big chart here. And then guess what? Then we're going to see a big ricochet rabbit to the upside. This is for all markets, by the way. This is NASDAQ. Oh, sorry, this is the S&P. This is the NASDAQ as well too. NASDAQ 100. As you can see, at this massive long-term cycle is going to help you stay at bay. What's coming? Big move up. And then we have that through there. That doesn't look like much, does it? But if we had a more move up from here and we had that drop through there, that's a 30, 40% drop. You know what the headlines are going to be, right? What's the noise? That's it. Oh my goodness, crash, blah, 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 blah. Like, what am I doing here? I'm being your coach, right? I'm being your guideline from here to show you what's probably going to come out of the next 12 months or so you can not be sucked in by the noise, but like, I'll be waiting for you. I see this. No, I'm not listening to that's it. The market's going down. The recession's starting. That's it. The end of the world's going to, and the market's going to go to zero. No, market's not going to go to zero. Right? No, the end of the world is not here. Yes, we have one more. We have a lot more QE banked in the cake. And they're going to do more QE. Yes, we're in the halfway zone maybe of this massive AI revolutionary boom. We have a lot more upside to come. But there needs to be a period of shaking the weak hands out. And that's what's going to come next year. Right? especially in the crypto market. Especially in the crypto market. The crypto market is going to get decimated. The reason why I say that is that's one market that I am just seeing just craziness out there. And for you guys that are investing in cryptos right now, and the thousands and hundreds of thousands of meme coins and all this bullshit, right? It's just, oh my goodness, there's going to be so much devastation happening in the crypto market. Because everyone is about crypto these days. Everyone's about Bitcoin. Everyone's about all these markets. Like, for example, when it comes to Bitcoin right now, I'm seeing there's a guy on YouTube who I follow him because he helps me advertise on YouTube for my business, right? For my coaching business. And so he helps me, set up Google AdWords campaigns for my business and so on and so forth. But that's what his thing is how do we do YouTube advertising for when it comes to running ads. So that's his lane. What has he been doing for the last couple of months? Buy a Bitcoin, I'm selling my Rolex watch, I'm selling this, I'm selling that, I'm putting all my savings into Bitcoin. I'm like, you're an internet guy. So so we're probably going to go through devastation. Now this is the indices here, right? Crypto is probably going to get hit a lot harder. Individual stocks that have already been massive frothy are probably going to get hit really hard, right? Again, this is 10,000 foot view here. Now, when I go down to all these markets, say for example, SLV is probably going to continue up through here. But all SLV is going to do is what? This is SLV here. You look at this is the chart. So SLV, silver, is probably going to have some more moves to the upside. We're probably going to rally back up towards that level there, into that 40, maybe even overshoot to 45. But all this is up, down, up, down, up, 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 up. And then we're probably going to have a bit of a down period through. Again, this is a monthly chart, so these things take time, right? It's not tomorrow. And same for the GLD. And this is something that, again, all I do is I be smart, right? Just look at this GLD chart and tell me, every time we've had a vertical move, look at any market, not just gold, any market, right? Every time we have a vertical move like this, there needs to be a cooling off period. If you understand Gann's understanding of these markets, and you'll see how these markets truly work on the deepest level. And it blows my mind that people are so blinded by the current thesis. Now, again, I understand they're blinded because they're probably long and they probably want gold to go to 10,000. And they believe that, and they have so much conviction behind that they're not seeing the salt, right? I did an Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins a few years ago. It's my second time, and actually it wasn't that time, but I remember him talking about like the truth's right there in front of us, right? Sometimes we just can't see it because we don't want to see it. For example, so many people, I'm giving warning signals now that next year we're probably going to see a really good drop in gold, right? Maybe a 20-30% drop in gold. Now, people that are long these markets, they're like, you're an idiot, John. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is the end of the cycle. This is the end of the days. Oh my goodness, it's just going to go straight up. And it's never going to pull back. We're never going to get a correction out of this level here because markets just go straight up and they never correct. And I look and I bring up a chart. I say, here is the facts. Factual chart, right? Here are the facts. Look at this here. And if I bring up... And guys, trading the markets is what? Trading the markets at the end of the day is what? It's just being smart, right? Seeing the truth of what it is. A lot of traders don't make money even from trading the markets like I do. Like I'm a trader as well too. Meaning I'm looking at getting it out with a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Is because they refuse to seek the truth. Seek the truth. The truth will set you free, right? So what you want to do is you want to seek the truth of what is really going on right now and what's likely to come. So you're not blinded by it because most people are like, it's not going to happen, and boom, smack in the face, right? Like a bit of a smack in the face and it's not just a smack in the face, it's a smack in the face with a wet fish that's been dead for 10 days. You stink really bad, right? And that's the thing for me. The reason why I've gotten better at all this stuff, big cycle analysis, Over 20 years of my trading career, guys, big cycle analysis here, massive cycle analysis, but also down to the deepest of the actual trading style and trading is because I've continued to ask myself, John, what is your thinking correct? Ray Dalio taught me this. Well, he didn't teach me directly. I've learnt from Ray Dalio, should I say, right? Seek the truth regardless of appearance. Seek the truth regardless of appearance. The Science of Getting Rich talks about that, right? So what I see is I've always asked myself the questions. Is this true? Am I thinking the right thoughts right now? And a lot of people, again, you see this here. And if you look at any and just bring up a chart. Bring up a chart, even going back to the 1970s. This big boom here, this big boom here, this big boom here. Tell me, you guys that are long gold. Now, I don't hate gold. I think gold's going to 10,000. But I'm trying to share with you what's probably likely to come over the next 12 months. And so the whole purpose of me doing this here for you right now is to bring up the 10,000 foot view, understand where we're at right now. So if we do see a really good correction out of gold, you're not being sucked in. And that's the biggest thing I'm trying to teach you here is understand the massive cycles at play, because you see the patterns, you see the cycles at play from a 10,000 foot view as you learn from Ray Dalio. So then you can be smart about what's coming. And so you can be not sucked in by the noise, but you understand, oh, this is it here, right? You can stay emotionally calm when everyone else is jumping out of the buildings because the stock market's crashing, gold's going down, everything's a bubble. But you're like, oh, I was actually waiting for this. And when you stay calm in the midst of everyone freaking out around you, that's when you stay calm, you make good decisions, and that's when you're going to make an absolute fortune from these markets. Because the 99% of traders are going to be freaking out because they run by their emotions, because they don't see what's coming, because they're blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to share with you what's coming so you can understand what's going on. Again, look at gold. So for you guys that say gold's just going to keep going up through here, come on now, seriously, right? Look at this. It's just going to keep going up, right? I know Peter Schiff's been coming out, and some of you guys have been, Peter Schiff says we're going to 10,000. Here we go. It's just going to keep going up. It's like, guys, traders, be smart. Be smart. Look at this here. Arata. We're going to get something like that, right? Now, here's the really big thing. Here's the awesome thing about you guys, right? Why I'm bringing this up here is because there's going to be a super cycle that's coming. Everything's going to go through a bit of a shake and bake. There's going to be it's going to be a shaking of weak hands. Then the real big move comes. For you guys that say 10,000 gold, yes, I agree. But you know what? You know how that's going to play out? Let me bring up the 10,000 view here. You know how that's going to play out? Just like markets work. Think about markets like energy fields, right? The market is an energy source. It's energy. So therefore, if we've been going up for quite some time, through here, go up, we've been using a lot of energy, right? With the market, there's a lot of buying, there's a lot of using a lot of energy, money, whatever, right? Buying it up. And there comes a point in time where people start to get tired. Then we need to refuel, we need to reset. And after a few years, especially on a monthly chart of a very big bull market, this is overall, right? Not every day, not every, you get what I'm trying to say here, right? There's going to come a point in time when we start to do what? We start to go through a energy building phase. And so that building phase could be there, could be something like that, right? This is what we do. Energy using, energy building, energy using, energy building. And then after a period of time, like this one here, 3 years, guess what? Oh, we've actually built a lot of energy now. Let's actually start to release that. And then we build it up and build it up and build it up and build it up and build it up. This is what I learned from Gann, actually, by the way. This is actually called price and time. And then inevitably there comes a what? We may even get to 4,000, which I believe are going to in gold right now. I believe we're 3,600. We're on our way to 4,000, I believe. Could be wrong, right? And then guess what? We're now getting towards the end of this exhaustion phase, right? We've been going up, energy using. You know what's coming soon, right? Because markets do this. All markets do this. Not just one market, all markets do this. They go through an extended move to the upside. And then what happens? Then we start to go through some sort of energy building phase. And an energy building phase can look either something like this here, where we can start to get maybe We could look something like this overall, maybe like a big drop, like a hard drop through 2027. Or we may even do something like this here, like a slow move, or we may do something like this here. Either way, 1, 2, or 3, this is what's called energy building phase. We've been using so much energy here, there's been so much noise, and now especially up here, the noise is loud. You're hearing it, you're seeing it, it's happening, it's loud. Again, this is for you guys that have, if you have, multiple millions in funds, and you have access to that, and you're trying to make sure you're doing the right things. That's what this whole thing is all about, right? Especially this first part of this video here. But then what I see is then what's going to happen here? The noise is going to flip. The noise is going to go for gold cannot go down. You need to be in gold, right? Like my gardener, you need to be in oil. And that was the top before it crashed, right? It's going to be very loud on the upside. It's going to be very loud down the bottom here. We're going to get the same. Now the loud is going to be, that's here, gold's dead. You're going to get your Harry Dent come out and say, I told you gold's going to go to zero. Right? You're going to get all these noises in the marketplace. Don't listen to it. It's all noise. Noise. Right? Look at why these markets work. The truth is that's what markets do. But then the people who see this here, and I'm not saying we're going to go to 2,500, by the way, guys. This is just a diagram of what I see coming, right? But then we see what? Then we see the 10,000. This is the 10,000 up here. Then I see the next leg being the really big bull leg. And this is for all markets, by the way. This is for all markets. This is the gold market from here. Even if I look at, say, the GDX, or even like the GDXJ, right? Especially on the GDXJ, if I bring up, say, that's a monthly chart there. The GDXJ to me is in the mix of, is in the mix of a very first leg in the bull market. But we will go through corrections, right? The markets just don't go straight up. So if any of you guys are in the mining sector right now, yeah, we've probably got a little bit more movement to the upside, right? But then inevitably what's going to happen? We know. Yes, I see mining stocks haven't been, but look what's been happening for the last overall month. We're going up and up and up and up. You know what's coming, right? We're probably going to get something like that soon. There's going to be a correction. There's going to be a refueling phase, and then we're going to go through to here. This happens on all markets, right? Look at the S&P and the Dow Jones. Let me bring up the monthly chart here for a minute. Actually, I'll stick to. Let's go blank. I'm trying to see here, right? Now, look at this here. As you can see, we do go through these phases here, right? So the market will go up for a while, energy using, and if we've done that for a few years, there's a high probability we're going to go through something like this here. And so that's called an energy building phase, right? When we start that, and then we go back up again, and then we have a big shock. This is us refilling really quickly, and then away we go again. So short-term analysis, yes. I see a lot more upside to come, right? And the same for the Dow Jones. If you look at the Dow Jones, you can see this is what markets do, right, guys? Markets just don't go straight up. And this is for all markets from here. The reason why I'm really big on this here, right, guys, because two reasons. One, for you guys that have a lot access to some really significant amount of funds, we're talking millions of dollars, I'm trying to share with you that what's coming so you can just be prepared for it. But also, secondly, even if you don't, if you want to start to really add, I truly believe, an extra few more zeros, then the long term of this here is this long-term chart here. And the long-term chart here is this. We're 12 years in, average of 16 years. Now, this is average, right? Not exactly, but you can see the cycle in on the Dow Jones overall. This is the massive 10,000 foot view. What is this level from here? That is, Dow Jones have a little bit more move to the upside. And then we go through something like that. That there is what? Roughly around a 20, 30% drop in the markets. Then we see what? Then we see something like that going on. Now, it may get it probably eventually will get to 300,000. But right, but this point through here, that with gold, with the mining sector, even with silver, with all these mining sectors, I'm just trying to get you to understand that we go through these cycles here, and because everything right now is pretty high, we're probably going to get a correction. We do know there's a recession just around the corner. We know that's going to happen, right? And when that happens, the market's going to go down, and gold as well too, guys. But that's not the end game, because these things go down. That's not the end game. It's what? It's the game on. Why? Because then on the other side of the 2020s, 2026, from 2027 through to 2032, we're probably likely to see this here. This is going to be one of the greatest buying opportunities you're going to see here in the marketplace. And again, so for you guys that are long-term investors, if you do buy and hold, now this is for the indices. This is for the overall markets here. I'm not talking about individual stocks because individual stocks are in their different phases and different chart patterns, right? This is just the overall markets for me. It doesn't mean all stocks, by the way. So we can see that through there, right? So now what I want to do is I want to bring it down now to some short-term analysis here to show you when it comes to the shorter-term stuff in the markets here. So let's actually start off with the good old gold chart. Silver chart. And the good old silver chart, we can actually see we're actually starting to really push to the upside. If I bring on the SLV chart here, SLV was just going sideways and now we're broken out from here. So there could be a high probability that next resistance up around about that level from there. So around the 42 level. That's where we could probably see silver have a move to the upside from there. If we go look at the GLD, same thing here, guys. This is short term. Now we're going the real short term stuff. What I'm expecting now, real short term stuff. We had a very big basing out pattern. If I bring this up to here and bring on the GLD, bring this down to here. Actually, I'll bring on the actual gold chart itself. Now we see what's happening through here. One thing I see is I actually got a 4,000 target up here. So how I see this all playing out is that, and again, guys, look at this here, right? It's how markets work, right? The truth is this: market goes up for a while, then we correct. Goes up for a while, then we correct. We go up for a while, when we correct. Go up for a while, when we correct. We go up. We're probably going to pause here for a little bit, and then maybe make a move to the upside, right? So, and then this is all works on all markets, right? So we do go through these periods from here. Just understand the phases we're in right now. So if we've been in one of these very big bull phases for a few months, maybe even now we're going to go through another couple of months of a bull phase, you do know what happens, right? So as the bull phase is actually happening, you do know eventually we're going to go through one of these phases. So it's just a warning sign to say, okay, this thing's been going up for 2 months. It's probably going to go through a bit of a pause here soon, and it might last a couple of months. Let me just stand aside, because if I'm going to start to get in options and think it's going to go up this week, right? This is warning signs. This, by the way, guys, 20 years of the making. 20 years of the 20 years of my trading career. This is the thing for me is I'm looking for opportunities to get into that's going to give me a massive probability of succeeding. And also, I'm looking for the things that tell me to not get involved with this thing. Don't get involved right now. One of those things, if it's already been going in that direction, pause. No touchy, right? So we see it through there. I see probably like a little bit of a pause here, maybe for a couple of days. Let the moving averages catch up, but then I see overall, if I bring up this chart here once again, you can see here that I do see another move to the upside around that 4,000. But we're getting towards the end of this very big bull market, guys. Again, think about the long-term view I just said there a minute ago as well too. The GDX and the GDXJ have just been absolutely just astronomical. I think we're getting towards the end of this here. We may have one more little push to the upside out of the GDX from here. But again, we're getting towards the end here. SIL as well too. This is one that I'm in myself. We're probably getting ready. We're probably going to get ready into the 70s. A push to the 70s here. 70s into maybe even 75. But again, this is one that I've been in now for a couple months. I'm up about 250% return right now on this one here. So I'm just going to see what happens, but I'm looking to get out of this thing pretty quickly. So probably in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to be getting out of these things and being done and dusted with that from that level from there. Let's go look at the S&P 500 and all these indices here. Continue push higher. Again, we are in this very big vertical move, so we're probably going to continue a lot higher here. When these very strong moves happen, you don't want to start to try to pick tops, right? You don't want to start to pick tops, but just bear in mind what I said here in this video, that next year is going to be probably a bad year for you. And so just get ready for that. And then also Dow Jones, as you can see here, right? The Dow Jones had definitely broken out, and now we're broken above this resistance through here. On a short-term level basis, let's actually bring this down to real short-term. This is that level through there, right? And we also have this level through here. If the Dow Jones does hold here, if we do hold and pick back up, this could be a very short-term little drop here before we start to see a move back up. And then we could actually then start to see the market start to make a move back to the upside from there. So very short-term, probably a lot more bullishness out of that as well too. Now also what I see is on a real big picture as well too, is if I go back to this chart here and I bring up the IWM, I honestly believe that IWM is going to start to play some catch up, right? King Russell is back on the table. King Russell, for you guys that are new around here, this move was happening last year, I had the term King Russell, baby, King Russell, because I saw King Russell going up and then breaking out. I actually made about 85% return on a trade through this point through here. So I actually made money through this here, but it didn't have the move that I was expecting. Because I was expecting a move back up towards at least 300 on the Russell, but it didn't. As you can see, we've actually gone through a what phase? What is this, guys? Say it with me. Energy using for a couple of years, never gone through a very big energy building phase. So this Russell here, after all this time, we're probably going to get maybe a little bit of a pullback here or a pause, but the King Russell could be getting ready for a breakout. So the King Russell could be playing catch up. So the King Russell, baby, is probably back on the table. By the way, traders, if you're serious about leveling up your trading, I've opened up 10 spots to my Inner Circle coaching program. This is where I show you all my best trading strategies I trade every single day. You get access to my scans that I use there all the time as well too. Every single week I do a live weekly group coaching session for the Inner Circle group, and my whole goal there is to help you become a well-rounded master trader. Emotional management, trade management, letting your profits run, cutting losses short, and all the different discipline, patience, all the different areas to help you become a well-rounded master trader. And also you get access to an exclusive committed group of all the Inner Circle group so you can communicate with them, and that's our private Inner Circle group as well too. But this is what I want you to do right now. This is only application only. We're only looking for committed traders, and if you're ready to go, then that's for you. There should be a link in the description there, or go to getjohntop.com right now. Go fill out the application form. It's only for the first 10 only, because I like to keep the group really small. So go there right now. Go to getjohntop.com right now. Go fill out the application form, and I will personally be speaking to you on the phone, and we'll go from there to see if you're a good fit for what I'm looking for. Speak to you soon, traders.